Hare Krishna, Raju Prabhu, Sapan Prabhu, Madhavi Mataji, Danda Pranam. All glory to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you very much for joining today. We will start, okay? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanaatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshunam Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukhaṁ karoti vācālam pangam langāyate girim. Yat krupātamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramānandam. Om apavitra pavitro va sarvavastangatopi va Yasmaret Pundarikaksham Sabhahyabhyantaram Sujihi Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavata Purana, Canto 3, entitled as The Status Quo. Text in chapter 7, entitled as Further Inquiries by Vidura. So we are at text 42. So we are almost there, this chapter. 42nd verse, and right after this we will continue with our Bhagavata Subodhini readings. Again, kind of overview, or we can say bird's eye view, or we can say one more time recollection. While reading Bhagavata Subodhini also, we get a feeling of reading again one more time. Same text, same only, some points, some linking connection or connected points, some note points, some elaborated tables, some descriptions, little more further studies. Okay, so we'll continue. I'll read this one for myself, then we'll start reading Bhagavata Subodhini. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, thus the chief of the sages, who was always enthusiastic about describing topics regarding the personality of Godhead, began to narrate the descriptive explanation of the Puranas. Being so infused by Vidura, he was very much enlivened by speaking on the transcendental activities of the Lord. Purport. Great learned sages like Maitreya Muni are always very enthusiastic about describing the transcendental activities of the Lord. Very enthusiastic. Utsaha, Dhairya, Nishya. Next of instruction, Rupa Goswami also given an instruction, given a principle. Utsaha, very enthusiastic in executing devotional service. Here, Maitreya Muni also is very enthusiastic to describe transcendental activities of the Supreme Lord. Because while speaking, the speaker, while hearing, the hearer. While speaking, the speaker, while hearing, hearer. Speaker and hearer, both of them get benefited. One is speaking, one is hearing. So here, Maitreya Muni, very enthusiastic in describing, and Maitreya Muni, being thus invited by Vidura to speak, appeared to be smiling because he actually felt transcendental happiness. Thus, in the Bhaktivedanta purports of the third canto, 7th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Further Inquiries by Vidura. So, in the Bhagavad Gita, there is beautiful verse, Machitta Madhgata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam Katayantascha Mam Nityam Tushyanticha Ramanticha. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, let me open that verse. It's one of the Chatusloki Bhagavad Gita, 10.9 actually. Very nice verse in connection with this, Vidura Muni. Vidura, how he is experiencing transcendental bliss by describing the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. Right? By describing the pastimes of the Supreme Lord, He got the smile. Yes, yes, I'm very happy to describe the glories of transcendental activities of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. So suddenly he got that. Then he is asking Vidra, so he got that. So here in Krishna himself says in the Bhagavad Gita, Machitta Madhigata Prana, Bodhayanta Parasparam, Katayantascha Mam Nityam, Tushyanti Charamanti Cha. When I read this verse, particular verse, I am remembering that particular verse from Bhagavad Gita. So these pure devotees, Maitreya Muni is a pure devotee of Supreme Lord. So what is their pure devotees consciousness? So this is what it is. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. See, here both of them, right? Hearer, Vidura is hearing. Speaker, Maitreya Muni is speaking. On whom? Transcendental activities of Supreme Lord. By doing so, what are they getting? Spiritual bliss. So Krishna himself saying, my pure devotees are always dwell in me, always repeatedly and understanding, and in they are also in the pastimes of Supreme Lord, repeatedly. Bhagavatam thousands of times repeated, Bhagavad Gita thousands of repeated. Every time they get a fresh feeling, every time they get a fresh, nice realizations of the Supreme Lord. Because when we touch with the spiritual topics, we get that way. When we touch with the material subject matters, we won't get that. We get bored actually. Same subject, we won't get any happiness actually. After some time, we get bored. So that is the problem, or that is the limitation with the material topics. In the spiritual topics, there is no limitation. It's ever expanding happiness, ever expanding glories of the Supreme Lord. The thoughts of my pure devotees are well in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service. They derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So now I'm opening up Bhagavad Subhadani, this guide. So let us continue from the readings here. Stop sharing and start sharing again. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Rashmi Mataji. I have seen some new devotee, I don't know. Srinivasulu Nandyal. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Srinivasulu Nandyal Prabhu. Okay. Thank you for joining with us, Prabhu. So we are reading here Srimad Bhagavatam. Please continue with us for readings. Okay. So now I'm going to ask names. So Rashmi Mataji, can you please start reading these sections?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Dandavat Pranam, Mataji. Okay. First, यहाँ से start करो.
Yes, Prabhuji. 3.7 Further inquiries by Vidura. 1 to 7 Vidura inquires about Ishvara and the Jivas. 2 to 4 How can the Lord, who is spiritual and transcendental, be connected with material gunas? 5, 6 How does the pure soul become engaged in nescience and thus suffer? 8 to 14 Maitreya disciples all misconceptions about the Ishvara and Jivas and recommends bhakti. Ninth, the Lord is overcome by illusion and still unconditioned. This is illogical. 10 to 11, the distress of the living entity is due to misidentification. 12 to 14, solution, devotional service. 15 to 20, Vidura shares his heartfelt realization with Maitreya. 15, uh, my doubts my doubts are dispelled by your convincing answers. 16 to 17, I am convinced that the basis of the jiva's disturbance is the Lord's Maya. 18 to 20, these convictions will convert into realization by the rare service of devotees that gives rati and vanquishes miseries. 21 to 38, Vidura's further inquiries. Varieties of questions answers to which span the uh, entire Bhagavatam. 39 to 42. Vidura declares his confidence in Maitreya. 39. Without Guru, one can't have knowledge of devotional service. 40. Purpose of my inquiries is to hear the pastimes of Hari. 41. Your answer will provide immunity from all miseries, which is the greatest charity.
Yes, Mata. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, my Prabhuji also join in my screen only.
Okay, I'll ask him to read. Okay.
Okay.
Very,
Okay,
very
Prabhuji.
nice. Nice sections. Elaborated. 1 to 7, those verses talks about Vidura, inquiries about Ishvara and the Jivas. Vidura asked questions. Vidura wanted to know how this creation takes place, how these living entities are entrapped, how this material world is going to work, how it is functioning. So what is the solution of these all the various material problems? So everything we got it from Maitreya Muni. So he is explaining nicely in this chapter. That's why it's chapter. Further inquiries by Vidura Muni. Vidura. No, Muni, Vidura. So very nice chapter. And 8 to 14, Maitreya dispels all misconceptions and the Ishvara Jiva recommends Bhakti. What is Ishvara? What is Jiva? That is going to explain that. 15 to 20, Vidura shares his heartfelt realization with Maitreya. 21 to 38, Vidura's further inquiries. And 39 to 42, Vidura declares his confidence in Maitreya. Because Maitreya is a pure devotee, complete. That's just like, we have to have full confidence in our spiritual master so that our spiritual life will be successful. So he here 39th verse especially does. Without Guru, one can't have the knowledge of devotional service. Krishna himself says in the Bhagavad Gita, one has to approach a real, nice, properly situated Guru. Krishna only redirects actually. You see, everything comes from him. So he only sets that nature, material nature, to find a right Guru for us. If we have that sincerity, to wanted to understand what exactly the spiritual life is all about. 38 verse, 39th verse. Without Guru, one can't have knowledge of devotion service. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, right? We all know. Many times we have recited that also. Tadviddhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnanina sattvadarshinaha. Jnanina tattvadarshina. Tattvadarshi is who? He is a real devotee who has seen the truth. Krishna has given special mercy to that particular devotee. So if you approach him, he will give the right, proper knowledge. Here, we are all connected with the Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya of our institution, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So, what is this institution? It is a teaching an institution of how to perform a properly executing devotional service and proper way of understanding Shastra. And in line with Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, our life needs to be put in. Our life needs to be put in. Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So we are all have to feel every day. We have to feel. We are very fortunate to be associated with right good association, taking wonderful instructions from Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, hearing. Krishna consciousness. What is Krishna consciousness? The Krishna consciousness process is KKP. KKP. Krishna, Kirtan, Katha, and Prasadam. Kirtan, dancing Kirtan, chanting, feasting, and dancing. Another way we say, what is spiritual life? Spiritual life is to get real happiness. Spiritual life, why we are following spiritual life? Why we are putting everything aside and practicing this? Because we wanted to have a real happiness. That is real happiness connected with Krishna. So KKP, Krishna, Kirtan, Katha, Prasadam, and chanting, feasting, and dancing. Chanting, feasting, and dancing. Our process. Prabhupada, that way only attracted, these youngsters, all the hippies. He made them happies. He made them sannyasis. He made them nice devotees. He made them nice teachers, gurus, because of so much purity is there, Srila Prabhupada. That's why he's a purity. Purity is the force. Krishna consciousness, these are the, see, who are these guys once upon a time in 1960s? Drunkards, all the four regulative principles breakers. So that's the purity. Purity is the force. So here also, inquiring. By inquiring submissively, you get the knowledge. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, right? So here, Vidura is inquiring submissively, putting all the questions and inquiries to Maitreya Muni, and Maitreya Muni is nicely answering all this. Wonderful chapter, actually. Okay, so we'll read. I'll ask names. Madhavi Mataji, please continue.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji, please read. 1 to 7.
1 to 7. Vidura's inquiries about Ishvara and the Jivas. 1. Vidura asked the following questions to Maitreya in a pleasing manner. What is this symbol, Prabhuji?
Linking point, Mataji. When we see,
link.
it's a link anamata. A previous chapter lo unna verses ki, ee chapter ki unna connection entidi. Connected verse anamata. It's a linked. Inka చూస్తే కనుక wherever we see this one, it's a linked. When we see some note point, and a notepad ichi pen. This
I understood that notepad.
Point.
Yeah.
Okay. Read, Mataji.
Yeah. Linked point. 3.5.25 to 26. 3.7.2. Having heard about how the Lord created the universes by glancing on material nature, which consists of the three modes, Vidura inquired from Maitreya about how the Supreme Lord could be connected with these modes. 2 to 4. Inquiries about the Ishvara. 2. How is the Lord who is spiritual? Chinmatrasya. And transcendental. Nirgunasya. Be connected with material gunas. How can the Lord who is unchangeable, avikarina, perform actions that indicate change? 3 to 4. Impelled by desire, children play, but the Lord is self-satisfied, swatatrupta, without desires, and detached, nivrutta. Then why does he create, maintain, and dissolve the universe by his Maya Shakti? Very good point. 5 to 6. Inquiries about the Jiva. 5. How does the pure soul become engaged in nescience? 6. Why does the living entity suffer in spite of the Lord's presence in his heart? 7. My mind is illusioned and I request you to clear it out.
Yes,
Should I continue, Prabhuji?
We'll give it to other devotees. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Vani Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji. Please continue.
8 to 14, Maitreya dispelled all misconceptions about Ishvara and Jiva and recommends Bhakti. 8. Maitreya, being God conscious, Bhagavad Chitta, replied to Vidura, who was inquisitive about the absolute truth. Tattva Jignasuna. Maitreya first refuses illogical statements about the Lord. Answer 2 is 3.7.2 to 4. 9. It's illogical. Some say that the Supreme Lord is overcome by illusion and yet he is unconditioned. This is against all logic. Special notice, Maitreya answers Vidura's inquiries about the Jiva. Answer is in 3.7.5 to 6. 10 and 11. The problem is Atma Vipareya. 10 is misidentification. Distress of the living entity is due to the misidentification alone. There is no factual background to it, just as one sees one's head cut off in a dream. 11. Example. Just as the moon reflected on the water appears to tremble, the self associated with matter appears to be qualified as matter. 12 to 14. Solution is bhakti, devotional service. 12. Bhakti vanquishes misconception. That misconception of self-identity can be diminished by Lord Vasudeva's mercy. Vasudeva anukampaya. By the process of devotional service, Bhagavad Bhakti Yogena in the mode of detachment, Nivritta Dharmena. 13. Service vanquishes miseries. When the senses are engaged in serving Lord Hari, all miseries are vanquished. 14. Hearing and chanting. The Lord's qualities vanquishes all material miseries. Sadhana Bhakti. Okay. What to speak of those who attained attraction for serving the Lord's lotus feet? Bhava Bhakti. Ashesha Sanklesh Samam Vidhatte Gunanuvada Shravanam Muravare Kim va Punastak Charanaраvinda Paraga Seva Ratiratma Lapta. Thank
Yes,
you,
Mata.
Prabhuji.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah. Radhika Mata in hearing mode. Deepa Mata, please read. I'll spend another 5 to 10 minutes, Mata, and then over to you, okay?
Yeah, Prabhuji. 15 to 22.
Prabhuji,
Vidura-
నాకు చిన్న డౌట్ సారీ మాతాజీ నాకు
Yeah.
చిన్న అడుగుతాను మళ్ళీ Prabhuji, what is the plan for Bhakti Vaibhav preparation, Prabhuji, for the exam? In the evenings, you usually used to have call kada మీరు ఇండియాలో ఉన్నప్పుడు. సో వాటిని మీరు ఏమైనా ప్లాన్ చేస్తున్నారా?
ప్లాన్ అందరి సెల్ఫ్ మోటివేట్ కావాలి మొత్తం, దట్స్ ఇట్. అందరూ ఒక్కొక్కరు లైఫ్ అయిపోయింది. పాపం సత్యప్రభు, రాజు ప్రభు, దే ఎన్రోల్డ్ 1 or 2 modules చేసినారు. బట్ because of the schedule, their busyness, they are they continue with later money. సో సెల్ఫ్ మోటివేషన్ ఏమో విల్ సి. ఒకటే వారం ఉంది నెక్స్ట్ వీక్, ఈ వారం కదా, మండే టు.
అవును ఈ వారమే చేయాలి ప్రభుజీ. నెక్స్ట్ ఈ సాటర్డే, కమింగ్ సాటర్డే సండే ఎగ్జామ్ రాయాలి మనం.
చేయాలంటే అది మేబీ స్లైడ్స్ ని ఫాలో అవుతూ చూసుకోవాలి. ఆయన పంపించాడు కదా మన ఆనందరాం ప్రభుజీ, ఈ సెండ్ ద క్వశ్చన్ అండ్ ఆన్సర్స్. సో ఈజ్ హెల్ప్ఫుల్. So I am also preparing that one only because of I am also little busy. We'll see, Mata. I mean, how Teja Mata right now she is with her daughter in US only. I don't know when she is coming back. That is the thing. Only yourself and myself. Diva Mata is busy at that time. Okay. So it's a self motivation only. I mean, we'll see. ఎవరికి వాళ్ళే యమునా తీరే. ఓకే. చలో కంటిన్యూ అవుతుంది మనం దీపం అవుతుంది. ఇట్స్ ఓకే.
Yes, Prabhuji. 15 to 22. Vidura shared his heartfelt realizations with Maitreya. 15. Doubts cleared. All my doubts about the Lord and the Jiva have been cut off by the weapon of your convincing words, Sukta Sina, and my mind is entering into them. 16. Accurate explanation. You have accurately explained that the disturbances of Jiva have no other basis than the Lord's external energy. 17. Who is happy? Both the lowest of fools and the liberated souls enjoy happiness, whereas all other persons in between suffer. 18. Service converts conviction into realization. I am convinced that this material manifestation is without substance, but I will realize this only by serving your feet. Arthabhavam vinishchitya pratitasyapi natmana tam chapi yushmach charana sevayaham paranude. 19. Two results of service. Serving the spiritual master, yet sevaya. One develops transcendental ecstasy in Lord's service in various relationships, rati rasa, and dispels all material distress, vyasanardana. Yat sevaya bhagavata kutasthasya madhudvisha ratiraso bhave tivra padayo vyasanardana. 20. Rarity of service. Persons whose austerity is meager, alpa tapasa, can hardly obtain durapa, the service of the pure devotees, who constantly glorify the Lord, yatro pagiyate nityam, and are on the path of Vaikuntha vatmasu. Durapa hyalpa tapasa seva Vaikuntha. Durapa hyalpa tapasa seva Vaikuntha vatmasu. Yatropagiyate nityam deva devo janardana. 21 to 22. After creating the Mahat Tattva, Lord Karanodakshay Vishnu entered the universe as Garbhodakshay Vishnu and manifested the Virat Rupa in which all planets exist. Linking point. Vidura asked more questions by taking a clue from previous topics 3.5 and 3.6. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Raju Prabhu, are you able to read? Or Sapan Prabhu?
Lead last page. Yeah.
Him Prabhu? Busy, Raju Prabhu?
Last page Uttar Prabhuji.
Okay. Sapan Prabhu, go ahead. And next,
Yes,
Akintan Prabhu.
23 to 38, Vidura's further inquiries. The following questions of Vidura are similar to Parikshit's questions in 2.8. Against the questions, we have given some references of Bhagavatam section based on our understanding, in which these topics are majorly discussed. Kindly explain to me about the vibhutis of the Supreme Lord, different powers of the specific divisions that populate the universe. Sarga 3.5 to 11, 26, 29. All that Brahma has created, Visarga 3.12, 20, Manus and the descendants of those Manus, Visarga and Manvantara 3.21 to 24, different planets, their situation and measurements, Sthanam, categories of living beings and their generations and subdivisions, Visarga, Guna avatars and pastimes of the Lord, Varnashrama, great sages and Vedic divisions, Yoga, Yajna, Jnana and Sankhya, as well as Narada Pancharatra, imperfections of faithless atheist, crossbreeding, and movements of the living entities in various species of life as per their work and the modes, four Purusharthas and the rules for profession and for punishment, death rites, pitras and consolation, arrangements and divisions of time, charity, austerity, and sacrifice, and duties in different situations, how to completely satisfy the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna.
Continue. Actually, Prabhu.
Yeah.
So these are the bracket lo unnai cantos, the cantos and chapters that connected to that particular, topic. So for example, 4.125 means fourth canto, 125 chapters talks about those one. 5.15 and 425.15 that antara. So 8.1 to 14, that means 8th canto, first chapter, 14 verses, first 14 verses talks about Visarga, Manvantara. So these are the numbers so nicely because they have read in and out. That's where they put in, how these topics explained in further cantos and those chapters. So it's okay. You didn't read, but anyway, connected one. Okay. You can read until this they also completed.
Spiritual masters are kind to needy and they describe all knowledge without being asked. Speak on subjects which have not been asked. How many material dissolutions exist and who survives after it to serve the Lord while he is asleep? Truths of Jiva and Ishvara, essential knowledge of Vedas and necessities for the Guru and Sishya. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Babu. So the last section, let me finish it up and let me give it to Akinjam Babu. Okay, Akinjam Babu.
Hare Krishna. Yes.
Hare Krishna. Are you able to read, Babu?
Yes.
Yeah, please read.
39 to 42. Vidura declared his connection by his connection in Maitreya. 39. The knowledge is
Confidence. Is a confidence in Maitreya.
Vidura declared confidence in Maitreya. Yeah. Knowledge is impossible without a guru. How could one have knowledge of devotional service and detachment without the help of spotless devotees? Anaga Suribihi. Who are the source of the knowledge? I ask all the questions with a view to know the pastimes of Hari. So kindly describe them for all those who have lost their vision. Nasta Chakshusu. The greatest welfare activity, your answers will grant immunity from all the material miseries. Jivebhya Pradhanasya. Divebhya Pradhanasya. And this charity is greater than all the charities, sacrifices, penances, etc. Sarva Vedescha Yagnascha Tapodanani जानगः जीवाभ्या प्रदानस्य न कुर्यारान् कलम् अपि. Maitreya, capable of explaining the Puranas, being enlivened by the Vidura's questions, began to narrate Bhagavad Katha.
Yeah. So we are next chapter also some more questions answered. We can read next chapter. Bhagavatam will continue. Okay. Thank you, devotees, for reading Srimad Bhagavatam. So let us continue that 3.8 also. So Mataji, I am over to you. You can take up and open that. What is that?
Just
Sections.
give me 2 minutes, Prabhuji. Just give me 2 minutes.
Okay. Meanwhile, I finish.
Yeah, what I need to open, Prabhuji?
Sections 3.8 పంపించాడు ప్రభు.
3.8. Okay. Just give me 2 minutes. I'm
చేసుకొని
coming.
చదివియండి.
Yeah.
లేదంటే I will start and you can start from Veda base. First, let me complete that then.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sharing now. Okay. రాజు ప్రభు లాస్ట్ చదువుతాను కదా ఈ సెక్షన్స్ అని చదువుతారా మరి?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare
Yes, sir. హరే కృష్ణ చదవండి మొత్తం సెక్షన్ చదవండి.
Yeah, 3.8 manifestation of Brahma from Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. 3.8 manifestation of Brahma from Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. 1 to 9 disciplic succession of Srimad Bhagavatam. 1. Maitreya acknowledged Vidura, you have come in the devoted dynasty of Puru. Second, answer to 3.5.2 Bhagavatam benefits suffering people. 3 to 9 Parampara of Bhagavatam. 10 to 14 the reawakening of creation. 10 to 12 Garbhodakashaya Vishnu lay down for 1000 yuga cycle in the water of dissolution containing the jivas within him. 13 to 14 with the Lord glance the subtle subject matter of creation spouted from the Lord's novel in the form of a lotus bird. 15 to 23 Brahma's birth and his search for the absolute truth. 15 to 16 Brahma took birth on the lotus and examined 4 direction and got 4 heads. 17 to 21 being unsuccessful in searching for the source of lotus, he returned to its top. 22 to 23 Brahma meditated on the Lord and finally saw Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. 24 to 33 beautiful darshana of Lord Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. 24 Coral Mountain. 25th grandeur of the Lord's body. 26th merciful display of lotus feet. 27 acknowledged his devotee service with a smile. 28 transcendental adornment. 29 sandalwood tree. 30 a great mountain. 31 to 33 Brahma identified the word, saw the ingredients for creation and began his prayers. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. So I will give it to Mataji. So let me quickly see. So 1 to 9, those particular verses, this section talks of disciplic succession of Srimad Bhagavatam. And 10 to 14, the reawakening of the creation. And 15 to 23, those set of verses talks of Brahma's birth and his search for the absolute truth. Tapa, that way, we got that. 24 to 33, beautiful darshan of Lord Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. Sorry, so Mataji, you can, based on this section wise, let's try Mataji 1 to 9, 3.8.1 open 3.8.1. Okay, no? Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. I am taking it.
3.8.1 open చేయండి, then you can continue. Make host. ఆ తర్వాత భాగవతం వర్సెస్ ఈ వారం కూడా ఆ 2 వర్సలే ఉన్నాయి కదా.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, yeah, 3.8.1. Yeah, okay. You all continue. Thank you so much, devotees. Vandana Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I'll follow the recording. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
ఎవరితో రీడింగ్ స్టార్ట్ చేయాలి అంటే మళ్ళీ స్టార్టింగ్ నుంచినా? అందరిది అయిపోయిందా?
అందరిది అయిపోయింది. ఎస్ మళ్ళీ మాతాజిని కాల్ అవుట్ చేయండి. తర్వాత ప్రభుజీస్ సేమ్ మళ్ళీ కాసేపు అయిపోయాను మాతాజీ. 40 అంటే 25 minutes ఉంది. 25 minutes. దాని లాస్ట్ 10 minutes ఆ 2 వర్సెస్ చేయండి మాతాజీ భాగవతం.
ఓకే ప్రభుజీ.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్. హరే కృష్ణ.
Hare Krishna, Madhvi Mataji, you can start, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji,
Mataji.
Yeah, translation. The great sage Maitreya Muni said to Vidura, the royal dynasty of King Kuru is worthy to serve the pure devotees because all the descendants of that family are devoted to the personality of Godhead. You are also born in that family, and it is wonderful that because of your attempt, the transcendental pastimes of the Lord are becoming newer and newer at every moment. Over. The great sage Maitreya thanked Vidura and praised him by reference to his family glories. The Kuru dynasty was full of devotees of the personality of Godhead and was therefore glorious because they were not attached to impersonal Brahman or to the localized Paramatma, but were directly attached to Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. They were worthy to render service to the Lord and his pure devotees because Vidura was one of the descendants of that family. Naturally, he engaged in spreading wide the ever new glories of the Lord. Maitreya felt happy to have such glorious company as Vidura. He considered the company of Vidura most desirable because such association can accelerate one's dormant propensities for devotional service. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Rashmi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Please do.
Translation. Let me now begin speaking on the Bhagavad Purana, which was directly spoken to the great sages by the personality of Godhead for the benefit of those who are entangled in extreme miseries for the sake of very little pleasure. Purport. The sage Maitreya proposed to speak on Srimad Bhagavatam because it was specially compiled and traditionally comes down in the disciplic succession for the solution of all the problem of human society. Only one who is fortunate can have the opportunity to hear Srimad Bhagavatam in the association of pure devotees of the Lord. Under the spell of material energy, the living entities are entrapped in the bondage of many difficulties simply for the sake of a little bit of material happiness. They engage in fruity activities, not knowing the implications. Under the false impression that the body is the self, the living entities foolishly relate to so many false attachments. They think that they can engage with materialistic paraphernalia forever. This gross misconception of life is so strong that a person suffers continuously life after life under the external energy of the Lord. If one comes is contact with the book Bhagavatam as well as with the devotee Bhagavata, who knows that the Bhagavatam is, then such a fortunate man gets out of the material entanglement. Therefore, Sri Maitreya Muni, out of compassion for the suffering men in the world, proposes to speak on the Srimad Bhagavatam first and last. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Vani Mataji, are you there?
Mataji. Mataji చెప్పండి. Translation చదవాలా?
చదవండి.
Okay. Translation. Some time ago, being inquisitive to know, Sanat Kumara, the chief of the boy saints, accompanied by other great sages, inquired exactly like you about the truths regarding Vasudeva, the supreme, from Lord Shankarshana, who is seated at the bottom of the universe. Purport. This is in clarification of the statement that the Lord spoke directly on the Srimad Bhagavatam. When and unto whom the Bhagavatam was spoken is explained herewith. Questions similar to those put forward by Vidura were asked by great sages like Sanat Kumara and Lord Sankarshana. The plenary expansion of the Supreme Lord Vasudeva answered them.
You can do this also, Mataji.
Okay. Translation. At that time, Lord Sankarshana was meditating upon his Supreme Lord, whom the learned esteem as Lord Vasudeva. But for the sake of the advancement of the great learned sages, he slightly opened his lotus-like eyes and began to speak.
Thank you, Mataji. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. The sages came from the highest planets down to the lower region through the water of the Ganges, and therefore the hair on their heads was wet. They touched the lotus feet of the Lord, which are worshipped with various paraphernalia by the daughters of the Serpent King when they desire good husbands. Purport. The Ganges water flows directly from the lotus feet of Vishnu, and its course runs from the highest planet of the universe down to the lowest. The sages came down from the Satyaloka by taking advantage of the flowing water, a process of transportation made possible by the power of mystic yoga. If a river flows thousands and thousands of miles, a perfect yogi can at once transport himself from one place to another simply by dipping in its water. The Ganges is the only celestial river which flows throughout the universe, and great sages travel all over the universe via this sacred river. The statement that their hair was wet indicates that it was directly moistened by the water originating from the lotus feet of Vishnu, the Ganges. Whoever touches the water of the Ganges to his head surely touches the lotus feet of the Lord directly and can become free from all effects of sinful acts. If after taking a bath in the Ganges or being washed of all sins, a man guards himself against committing further sinful acts, then certainly he is delivered. But if he again takes up sinful activities, his bath in the Ganges is as good as that of the elephant, who nicely takes his bath in a river, but later spoils the whole thing by covering himself with dust on the land. Hare Krishna. Raju Prabhu Chautara.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
हाँ Prabhuji, Chautara.
Chautama. Yeah, translation. The four Kumaras, headed by Sanat Kumara, will all knew the transcendental pastime of the Lord, glorified the Lord in rhythmic accents with selected words full of affection and love. At the time, Lord Sankarsana, with his thousands of raised hoods, began to radiate an effulgence from glowing stone on his head. Purport. The Lord is sometimes addressed as the Uttama Sloka, which means one who is worshipped with selected words by the devotees. A profusion of such selected words comes from a devotee who is fully absorbed in the affection and love for the devotional service of the Lord. There are many instances in which even a small boy who has great devotee of the Lord could offer excellent prayers in the choicest words for glorification of the pastime of the Lord. In other words, without the development of fine affection and love, one cannot offer prayers to the Lord very suitably. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Sapan Prabhu, are you there to read?
Yes, Mataji. Lord Sankarsana thus spoke the purport of Srimad Bhagavatam to the great sage Sanat Kumara, who had already taken the vow of renunciation. Sanat Kumara also, in his turn, when inquired by Sankyayana Muni, explained Srimad Bhagavatam as he had heard it from Sankarsana. Purport. This is the way of Parampara system. Although Sanat Kumara, the well-known great saintly Kumara, was in the perfect stage of life, still he heard the message of Srimad Bhagavatam from Lord Sankarsana. Similarly, when he was questioned by Sankyayana Rishi, he spoke to him the same message he had heard from Lord Sankarsana. In other words, unless one hears from the proper authority, one cannot become a preacher. In devotional service, therefore, 2 items out of 9, namely hearing and chanting, are most important. Without hearing nicely, one cannot preach the message of Vedic knowledge. Hare Krishna.
Akinchan Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Translation and purpose. The great sage Sankhya was the chief amongst the transcendentalists, and when he was describing the glories of the Lord in terms of Srimad Bhagavatam, it so happened that my spiritual master Parasara and Brihaspati both heard him. The great sage Parasara, yeah. The great sage Parasara, as As aforementioned, mentioned, being so advised by the great sage Pulastya, spoke unto me the foremost of the Puranas, Bhagavatam. I shall also describe this before you, my dear son, in terms of my hearing, because you are always my faithful follower. Purport. The great sage of the name Pulastya is the father of the demonic descendants. Once upon a time, Parasara began to sacrifice in which all the demons were to be burned to death, because his father has been killed and devoured by one of them. The great sage Vasishtha Muni arrived at the sacrifice and requested Parasara to stop the deadly action. And because of the Vasishtha position and respect in the community of the sages, Parasara could not deny the request. Parasara, having stopped the sacrifice, Pulastya, the father of the demon, appreciated his Brahminical temperament and gave the blessing that in the future he would be the great speaker on the Vedic literature. Sorry, there was a call. Yeah. Yeah. Speaker of the Vedic literature called Puranas. The supplements of these Puranas, the supplements of the Vedas. Parasara's action was appreciated by the Pulasya because Parasara has forgiven the demon out of his Brahminical power or of forgiveness. Parasara was able to demolish all the demons in the sacrifice, but he considered demons are so made that they devour living creatures, men and animals. But when on the account should I on that account should I withdraw my Brahminical qualification of forgiveness? As the great speaker of the Puranas, Parasara first of all spoke on the Srimad Bhagavata Purana because it was the foremost of all Puranas. Maitreya Muni desired to narrate the same Bhagavatam be had heard from Parasara, and Vidura was qualified to hear it because of his faithfulness and is following the instructions received from the superiors. So Srimad Bhagavatam was being narrated from the immemorial by the disciplic succession even before the time of Vyasadeva. The so-called historians calculate the Puranas to be only the few hundred years old, but factually the Puranas existed from the time immemorial. Before all historical calculations by the mundaneers and the speculative philosophers.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Chandramouli Prabhu, are you there?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Yes, sir.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
The translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. At that time, when the three worlds were submerged in water, Garbhodakshayi Vishnu was alone, lying on his bedstead. The great snake Ananta, and although he appeared to be in slumber in his own internal potency, free from the action of the external energy, his eyes were not completely closed. Purport. The Lord is eternally enjoying transcendental bliss by his internal potency, whereas the external potency is suspended during the time of the dissolution of the cosmic manifestation.
Please read this also, Prabhuji.
Okay. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Just like the strength of fire within fuel wood, the Lord remained within the water for dissolution, submerging all the living entities in their subtle bodies. He lay in the invigorated energy called Kala. Purport. After the three worlds, the upper, the lower, middle planetary systems measured into the water of dissolution, the living entities of all the three worlds remained in their subtle bodies by dint of the energy called Kala. In this dissolution, the gross bodies became unmanifest, but the subtle bodies existed just like the water of the material creation. Thus, the material energy was not completely worn up, as is the case in the full dissolution of the material world.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Srinivasulu Prabhu. Would you want to read? Okay, I think we can end it here and we can start with the recitation because I'll need to log off at 9:15. Is that okay with everybody? Anybody left for reading? Hare Krishna?
Yes, Mother. Okay.
Yeah. Everybody has finished their turn of reading, I guess. We'll start. Yeah. Who'll do first?
Can I do, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Ruturvacha varan vibodvadvaradeshvarat buddha katam vrinite gunavikriyatmana yena ratanam apisanti dehina tani shakaivalya pate vrinena cha.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Just one,
Yeah.
Mataji.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. 1 second. I'll open the other one also. Yeah.
स उत्तमश्लोकमहामुखच्युतो भवत्पदाम्बोजसुता कणानिलः स्मृतिं पुनर्विस्मृततत्त्ववर्तमना कुयोगिनां नो वितरत्यलं वरे. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah. Aginchan Prabhu, do you want to do?
I'll do last time. ఇంకా ఉన్నారు కదా
ఉన్నారు అంటే
last
ఆఫీస్కి వెళ్ళాలేమోనని అడిగాను ప్రభుజీ. ఓకే.
Yeah. I'll do last time. I didn't heard actually. There was a call.
Sure. Chandramouli Prabhu, do you want to do?
Yes. Hare Krishna. Putruvacha varan vibhotvad varadeswarat buddham katam vrinite gunavikriyatmanam yena rakanam apisanti dehinam tani sakaivalyapate vrinena cha.
1 second, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Yeah.
सा उत्तमश्लोक मोहन्मुखाच्युतो भवत्पदाम्बोजसुधाकणानिला स्मृतिं पुनर्विस्मृता तत्त्ववर्तमानां कुयोगिनां न वितरते अलं वरै.
Prabhuji, మీరు రెండు అంటే the first two and the last two na you are doing in the same tune. Actually, that is the tune of the last two. स उत्तमश्लोकमहन्मुखोच्युता భవత్పదాంబోజసుధాకనానిలా. దిస్ ఇస్ ద ఫస్ట్ ట్యూన్. అంటే మీకు అది గుర్తుందా, మనం స్టార్టింగ్ లో యాంకర్ శ్లోకాస్ చేసాం కదా అప్పుడు.
అవును మాతాజీ.
అట్లాగా. సో ఫస్ట్ టూ ఏమో డిఫరెంట్ ట్యూన్ ఉంటుంది, నెక్స్ట్ టూ ఏమో డిఫరెంట్ ట్యూన్ ఉంటుంది. బట్ యూ కెన్ హియర్ ఎవ్రీబడి డూయింగ్. ఆఫ్టర్ దట్ యూ విల్ నో దట్. ఓకే ప్రభుజీ.
ఓకే. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
మాధవి మాతాజీ, డూ యూ వాంట్ టు డూ?
Mataji, Nanda again.
What Mataji? You want to do?
If you want, I'll do Mataji. Nene first
We'll do last Mataji, and we have to do translation also. Let's finish with the ones who want to do only the verse.
Perfect. All right.
Madhvi Mataji, Hare Krishna. Okay. Rashmi Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Who said Hare Krishna? Madhvi Mataji, are you there? No.
Mataji.
Okay. Rashmi Mataji, आप कर दो.
Yes, Mataji. Prithuravacha. वरन् विभोत्वाद्वरदेश्वरात् बुधा कथं वृणीते गुणविक्रियात्मना येनारकाणामपि सन्ति देहिनां तानीश कैवल्यपते वृणेन च। स उत्तमश्लोका महान् मुखाच्युतो भवत्पदाम्भोजसुधकानकणानिलः
धा
स्मृत।
माता जी सुधा करेंगे तो आपका सेट हो जाएगा। फिर से करिए।
अच्छा, स उत्तमश्लोका महान् मुखाच्युतो भवत्पदाम्भोज सुधकाननानिलः।
माता जी भवत्पदाम्भोज सुधा कणानिला, जहाँ पर
Okay.
ऊपर आ की मात्रा है ना, वहीं पर आप आ करिए, then what will happen, it will set into the tune. Observe the matras on top where there is a dash, उसी पे आप आ की मात्रा लगाइए।
अच्छा ठीक है माता जी। स उत्तम श्लोका महान मुखाच्युतो
यहाँ पर भी
भवत्।
सॉरी माता जी टू इंटरप्ट, सी देर इज
हाँ,
नो आ की मात्रा, सो महान नहीं है वो, महन मुखच्युत।
मखन
महन मुखच्युतो
मुखाच्युतो
पदाम भोज सुधा कणानिला।
नीलः। ओके माता जी, I'll try. स उत्तम श्लोका महन् मुखच्युतो भवत्पदाम्भोज सुधा कणानिलः स्मृतिं पुनर्विस्मृतत्ववर्तमानां कुयोगिनां नो वितरात्यलम्बरे।
वंडरफुल माता जी,
थैंक यू माता जी।
నేను చేయాలా మాతాజీ మీరు లాస్ట్ చేస్తే వరన్ విభోత్వద్ సారీ వరాన్ విభోత్వద్వరదేశవరాద్బుధా కథం వృణీత గుణ విక్రియమానానం ये नरकानमपि सन्ति देहिनं तनीश कैवल्यपतेत व्रणेन च।
सेम थिंग प्रभु जी, जस्ट पुट आ की मात्रा जहां पर भी ऊपर में देयर इज अ हाइफन, प्लीज एक्सटेंड दैट। ये नारकानाम अपि सन्ति देहिनाम, ऐसे। कैन यू डू अगेन?
या ओके वरान विभोत्वद्वरदेशवराद्बुधः कथं वृणीत गुण्या विक्रियात्मनां ये नरकानाम् अपि सन्ति देहिनां तनीश कैवल्यपते वृणेन च।
नाइस प्रभु जी, नेक्स्ट।
स उत्तम श्लोके महान् मुखच्चितो भवत्पदाम्भोज सुधाकनानिला स्मृतिं पुनर्विस्मृततत्त्ववर्तमानां कुयोगिनां नो
वितरत्यलंबरे, जहां पर वाई से एंड हो रहा है, यू हैव टू एड इट इनटू द नेक्स्ट वर्ड। सो वितरत्यलंबरे।
स्मृतिं पुनर्विस्मृततत्त्ववर्तमानां कुयोगिनां नो वितरत्यलंबरै।
यस प्रभु जी, थैंक यू प्रभु जी। वाणी माता जी।
यस माता जी। पृथुर्उवाच वरं विभोत्वद्वरदेश्वराद्बुधा कथां वृणीते गुणविक्रियात्मना ये नारकानाम् अपि सन्ति देहिनां तानीश कैवल्यपते वृणेन च। Translation. My dear Lord, you are the best of demigods who can offer benedictions. Why therefore should any learned person ask you for benedictions meant for living entities bewildered by the modes of nature? Such benedictions are available automatically even in the lives of living entities suffering in hellish conditions. My dear Lord, you can certainly bestow merging into your existence, but I do not wish to have such a benediction. ఇది గుర్తుంచుకోవడం కష్టమే మాతాజీ. ఐ థింక్ బ్రోకన్ రాయగలుగుతాం.
ఇన్ ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయాలి మాతాజీ.
స ఉత్తమ శ్లోకమహం ముఖచ్చితో మళ్ళీ చేస్తాం. స ఉత్తమ శ్లోకమహం ముఖచ్చితో భవాత్ పదాంబుజ సుధాకనానిలా స్మృతిం పునర్విస్మృతతత్వవర్త్మనాం భూయోగినం నో వితరత్యలంబరై.
Nice, Mataji.
Thank you. Translation. Dear Lord, you are glorified by the selected verses uttered by great personalities. Such glorification of your lotus feet is just like saffron particles. When the transcendental vibration from the mouths of great devotees carries the aroma of saffron dust off your lotus feet, the forgetful living entity gradually remembers his eternal relationship with you. Devotees thus gradually come to the right conclusion about the value of life. My dear Lord, I therefore do not need any other benediction but the opportunity to hear from the mouth of your pure devotee. Thank you, Mataji.
Anybody else left? I'll do. Prithruvacha. Varan vibhotvat varadeshwarat buddha katham vrinite gunavikriyatmanam yenaarakanam api santi dehinam tanisha kaivalyapate vrinena cha. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. My dear Lord, you are the best of the demigods who can offer benedictions. Why therefore should any learned person ask you for benedictions meant for living entities bewildered by the modes of nature? Such benedictions are available automatically even in the lives of living entities suffering in hellish conditions. My dear Lord, you can certainly bestow merging into your existence, but I do not wish to have such a benediction. सौत्तमश्लोकमहन्मुखच्युतो भवत्पदाम्भोजसुधाकणानिला स्मृतिं पुनर्विस्मृततत्त्ववर्त्मनां कुयोगिनां नो वितरत्यलम्बरै. My dear Lord, you are glorified by the selected verses uttered by great personalities. Such glorification of your lotus feet is just like saffron particles. When the transcendental vibration from the mouths of great devotees carries the aroma of the saffron dust of your lotus feet, the forgetful living entities gradually remembers his eternal relationship with you. Devotees thus gradually come to the right conclusion about the value of life. My dear Lord, I therefore do not need any other benediction but the opportunity to hear from the mouth of your pure devotee. Hare Krishna. Madhvi Mataji, do you want to do Mataji? Else I'll conclude the call. Is everybody done? Does anybody want to do more? Hare Krishna. Okay, we'll conclude the call. वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद बुक रीडिंग की जय. श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद लीलामृत की जय. चैतन्य चरितामृत की जय. हरे कृष्णा. दंडवत प्रणाम. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. हरे कृष्णा.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
For joining. Hare Krishna.